The core business of the company Jäger is the transport of temperature-controlled goods. Our company is specialized in food logistics. We mainly operate with cross-docking and distribute food in all temperature ranges across the German states of Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg and Hesse. These are typical Franconian organic cucumbers. They are now going to an Edeka supermarket in Trostberg. We started in 2008 with my parents' truck. In 2012, our business was spun off into a separated limited company and is today, therefore, the Jäger Kühllogistik GmbH. Currently, we have 70 employees and 40 trucks. Each month, we receive about 45,000 consignments that need to be planned. The majority of the shipments are general cargo consignments. We use 12 CarLo licenses that are distributed into the different areas: warehouse, administration, planning and accounting. And for me, as the managing director, an administrator license. During the first years, we used Excel, the classic method. We put together some lists. In 2012, we then purchased the first software. At that time, the software was very good, however, it was not able to keep up with our requirements over the years. So I started to think, we have to change something. Over time leads to demotivated employees. We often experience delays in the warehouse because the planning had not been finished. The warehouse was unable to load, and within the limited time we have available, this was an absolute deal breaker and had a bad impact on our quality characteristics. From an entrepreneurial point of view, I wanted a provider who would meet us on an equal footing, with whom we could work together and who had a familial structure. Thus, I really appreciate it when the sons of the Heidel family are at the company. Each of them manages his own area and is about my age. It gives me a good feeling to know that the structure will remain like this for a long time to come. Because switching to another TMS is like open heart surgery, and I don't want to do that twice. A warehouse employee presses on the loading button. Eventually, all ticks turn green, and the workflow always verifies whether all boxes are ticked. If this is the case, the system turns the entire tour column green, and that means that the loading has been completed. The linchpin of the process is CarLo. In planning, this definitively lowered our administrative workload, which meant that we are able to configure many processes during the preparation phase. The interface between CarLo and third-party programs are actually well connected. Dispatches complete tours. These tours are then transferred to the telematics system, so to the tablet in the vehicle. The drivers can subsequently work through the tours. They are also returned to CarLo. In the past, for example, when we used the old software with a low degree of automation, the dispatchers were able to complete the tours. However, all routine work such as optimization of routes, sorting in the right order, adjusting the times, etc., had to be done manually. Order imports also were a big issue. Nowadays, we let the customer import orders themselves. If someone wants to import their data in our company, they can, for instance, use our order import, which we slightly configure in advance. The order import is subsequently saved in the directory and the consignments are created. In the planning department, we have similar processes. This means all restrictions that are implicated, such as opening hours associated with route optimization, etc., were settled relatively quickly. It is always possible for our dispatchers to create tours and then, on its way back, decide to send the truck to a workshop and to include an MOT inspection. This is why I think we have a cool solution, because we have integrated these things into the planning. The same applies for managing accidents. We have a good overview simply because this is also integrated into CarLo. There are just so many things that are wonderfully coordinated. If we didn't have them, many things would get lost. In the past, I seemed to always be at work until 11 p.m. Those were exhausting long days because, of course, I didn't want to keep my dispatchers at work if the reason for that was me giving them a miserable software that was impossible to work with. Today, Philip is the only one there. Philip hands over the work to the night shift and then he goes home. And I have more time to take care of my children or watch the ice hockey. I enjoy a much better quality of life simply because we have an outstanding software. The challenge in the food sector is an extremely short response time. You only have one shot. Additionally, the retailers order very fresh products only extremely late. For our customers, this means that they have to go into production late again. Possibly they even have to go harvest, but this always has to happen quickly. This is a demanding challenge for both producers and also logistics specialists. To a certain extent, I could say that a good software allows you to educate customers. In the past, we overlooked that customers just had not booked enough store places, so they had to pay less freight. Since we have started working with CarLo and have been able to count every piece of incoming goods, we weren't able to notice them before because we couldn't enter these discrepancies. These measures for customer education led to a proper freight booking. So, we had the problem that 11 p.m. the semi-trailer was fully loaded and there were still 3 pallets that needed to be loaded. Do you know what I mean?
Wo können die hin? Ach so, warte.
Another big topic is, of course, workflows that contain a broad range of topics. This really is a major issue. The creation of a return is completely based on workflows and is extremely important as we are handling expensive customer property. These are limes from Spain. Yesterday we transported them to a Rewe supermarket. I don't know the reason for refusal. We usually create delivery notes of the returns for our customers. We always need a completely documented voucher flow, you know? So we configured that in CarLo in order to tell where the return comes from and who the sender is. Once we get the acknowledged receipt back in the accounting department, we just scan it and CarLo recognizes the order number, consignment number, and where it belongs. This makes it super easy to understand. Now we have to wait a bit, and now the system saves the document directly under the consignment where they belong. This certainly is a big workload reduction. It is easy to get into the software because all interfaces are built on one another. The processes are logical. The employees quickly found their way around it. I would define it as easy as pie. And as you can see, even my son got the hang of it.
Hey!